Hi everyone, welcome back to a new lecture. In this lecture, as you have already seen in the thumbnail, I'm going to explain the best way to learn cloud computing. Alright, so after deciding which cloud to learn, the next thing that you need to do is you can start creating infrastructure in the console, right? Let's say you have chosen to learn AWS first. Okay, so what you can do is you can go ahead create resources in the AWS console, right? So you go ahead, create your own account. So creating an AWS account is really straightforward. So go ahead, create an account. There is 12 months free subscription for you. You can sign up for that and you can start building projects, right? So as you build projects, let's say you explored EC2 instance today. You saw how to create an EC2 instance and you learned about anything and everything related to EC2 instance, right? So if you want to learn about these things, I have a separate playlist in my channel. We have AWS demo, AWS projects. These are the playlists that you can refer to create resources in the console. Okay, so after creating the resource in console, what I want you to do is go ahead and learn Terraform and create the same infrastructure using Terraform. Now, if you do not know what is Terraform, I have a separate playlist for that, Terraform AWS. So basically, to give you a high level overview, Terraform is an infrastructure provisioning tools. Basically, whatever you are creating in the console, you can do it as a code, right? So that is what Terraform is all about. So I want you to go ahead and create the same resource using Terraform. Okay. Next, after testing that, you go ahead and create it using an Boto3 script or SDK of your AWS. AWS has got SDKs. Out of them, Boto3 is one of them, right? Boto3 is an SDK of your AWS used to create or used to automate infrastructure things using these scripts, right? So let's say you have learned about EC2, right? So let me find EC2 here. You see there are a lot many EC2s here. Okay, if you just want if come here and search for EC2, you can click on any of them. You will get any method here. You will get a method here to create an EC2 instance, right? You can go ahead and create an EC2 instance and play around with it. So I have also created a separate playlist for that, AWS automation with Python Boto3. You can go ahead and take a look at it once. Okay, so let's say after creating you want to destroy the resource or terminate the EC2 instance. You will manually do it in the console. There will be a command, there will be a there will be a button here in the console. You will go ahead and terminate the EC2 instance easily. But if you want to do that using Terraform, so there will be a separate command. There is something called as Terraform destroy. You will go ahead and run that command and it will destroy your EC2. Same thing, go ahead and do it with your Python Boto3, right? So there will be, if you see here, delete instance, there are many methods here. You can make use of this and you can automate the things, right? By doing this, what happens? You are trying to do three things at a time. One is you are learning AWS. Two, you are also trying to learn infrastructure as a code tool, which is really important to sustain in cloud and DevOps field. And three, you are trying to automate it using Boto3 Python. So these three, you are doing it together. That is a really huge benefit. So that is why I've added 3-in-1, right? So if I were to start learning about cloud computing from the beginning, this is how I would do it right now, right? So you can take up any courses. I'm not saying that you go ahead and take up this course itself. You can take any course. You can refer the AWS documentation. There are a lot of documentation available in AWS. So in fact, if you're starting to learn cloud computing, the first thing that I suggest is to pick up AWS. The only reason is there are too many resources available to learn AWS, right? AWS in itself has got a documentation. You can refer that, right? So this is how I would start learning about cloud computing if I had to start again. right? So I just had this conversation with one of our subscriber today, so I thought of sharing the same with all of you. So if you're liking the content that I'm creating, please consider subscribing and share it among your friends. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.